Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Contest of Speed Tier 2. We're here for Season 7's pre-season at Bahrain, keeping ourselves in tune with what Real F1's doing. We've got our fingers on the pulse. We know what's going on in the world. My name is Dan. I'll be your commentator for this evening, and indeed this season, back again for another year. But for the first time ever, I'm not with Matt. But it's okay, though, because I've got Joel with me.
Yes, you do indeed.
Yes.
Oh, that Matthew Robbo Williams scum.
He said to me before this, please be nice to me. And I thought, okay, I will be. But Joel's not in the mood for it. So we're going to...
Harsh but fair.
Yeah. We've just got a little bit of an event so we can go through the new lineups for you all. I realise I've got no sound coming from the cars. There we go. Yeah, so we're going to go through the teams for you, talk about the season briefly, see who we think the movers and shakers are going to be, and who we think the guys who could be in a little bit of trouble are. And then we're going to have a little bit of a race as well, so these guys can get some of the early season jitters out of the way. So let's start off, seeing as we're riding on board, and he's the first man out on track with Arbar in the Renault this year, moving over from Red Bull. He's teammates with Matrix, who's dropped down from EU1.
Yeah, I think that's certainly lineup to watch, starting off strong.
Yeah.
They'll be up there fighting.
It should be, yeah. Arbar always seems to be the bridesmaid in EU2.
Indeed, yeah.
He's always the one who seems to pick up the pieces when the main championship leaders make a mistake. Matrix, of course, we all know Matrix, the Contest of Speed success story. Starting off in EU3, which at the time was the lowest tier. Got himself promoted from there by finishing second, I believe, in that championship in his first season. Then went up to EU2, was partnered with Ricky, actually, who's also in this tier now, at Ferrari. Won the championship there with a fantastic race at Kota in Season 4, which, if you haven't seen it, anyone watching, please go back and watch it. That was a fantastic race. Got himself promoted to EU1, and since then he's moved to the wheel, kept himself up, but now he's trying no assists, and he's just dropped off the pace a little bit as he's getting used to those changes. So back into EU2 for probably one season. We'll see how he goes. But I would definitely put Renault towards the front of the pack.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Arbar's, from what I've watched of him, he's very, very consistently there in and around to pick the pieces when things go wrong, and I'm sure I haven't seen much of Matrix. I've only watched him in Tier 1, but I do believe that he will be strong coming down to EU2. He'll certainly be up there.
Yeah, the course Kimi Raikkonen, if you ever get him for an interview, which I hope we do this season, it's fantastic to have a chat to him.
Yeah, hopefully he's a bit more exciting than Kimi.
He's more funny than Kimi. He is good fun to talk to. Right, so moving on then, I just saw him come out of the garage, so we'll go for them next. Ferrari. We've got Timmy Ware 2 next, who at the back end of last season was right up there at the front of the field, pulling off a Carlos Sainz, moving from McLaren to Ferrari. Bit of a lock up there down into the hairpin. Timmy, I think, could be one of the dark horses of this season if he continues his progression from where he was last season, especially at the back end. I think he could be near the front, and particularly now he's partnered with a teammate of Rage Snipes, now changing his name to IFR Snipes, of course, having joined that Danish esports team. I think it could be a very, very fruitful partnership if they can push each other. I'm not sure how effective either of those two are going to be. Like that team cohesion straight away might take them a while.
Yeah, I agree. I think it might present some issues sometimes with maybe them being on very, very similar pace and possibly not wanting to budge for one another. But we'll have to see how that one plays out.
Yeah, I think if they don't pull it this season, season 8, if they stay together as teammates, will definitely be the ones where these guys are ones to watch. Dark horses for the championship on both fronts. I would say simply for just the pure pace that he showed last season, Snipes is going to be the guy who's quicker out of the two.
Yeah,
out of the box.
Top 10 finishes in EU1 and 29 zeros around USA, it's certainly not something to be laughed at. So.
No, he's going to be near the front of the pack. Timmy, of course, will be there to support him as well and will lead the way. Ferrari definitely constructors contenders.
Indeed.
Alright then. Where next? Shall we go to... Let's go to Red Bull next.
Starting off strong.
Yeah, so... Oh, perfect timing to see him come out of the garage. Another EU1 driver who has dropped down this season, that's IFR Milan. He's in the Red Bull and he partners NSX Yorno, later rival last season, who could arguably have been put into EU1, but has stayed in EU2 for this season. And I would be honest in saying I think that Red Bull are going to win the Constructors' Championship this year.
Yeah,
in this team.
You know, as long as they keep it consistent and keep it clean, the pace that these two guys have got, it would be, you know, a real shock for me personally if they didn't win this Constructors.
Yeah, I think there are other teams that will challenge, as we mentioned already, the Ferraris, the Renaults, and I think some of the others as well might do, if purely on just keeping it clean and scoring rather consistent points. But I think the outright favourites have to be Red Bull.
I agree.
Both drivers are top tier pace drivers. Yorno is a consistent winner from last season. Milan, we know his pace anyway from other leagues he's been in and from when he was in EU1 as well. So I think it's fair to say that both of those guys will be in the running for the drivers as well as the team for the constructors.
Yeah, and with the same as Ferrari, you know, I wonder if a little bit of on-track action might halt their constructors' run, but I think even with that they'll still prevail.
Yeah, I think, well, we've seen Red Bull of course in the past with issues with team orders and number 1 and 2 drivers, etc. But I think Milan's Dutch, isn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, so both Dutch drivers, I think they'll be right on it from the word go, and I would not be surprised to see them up at the front for most of the season. Okay then, so we've done the top 3, I think, anyway. So Mercedes then. Let's go for those guys next. Only one of their full-time drivers in tonight, that's Jamie. The second driver for them is Jonathan Cox, who couldn't be here tonight. So we've got their number 3 driver in, which is Jay Wizzy. Number 3 drivers are a new feature this season, for anyone who isn't aware of that already. Each team has a designated third driver once they have entered the league, so it's a way of getting new drivers involved, getting them into teams, integrated as being part of the community rather than sort of stuck in limbo. And then should one of the main 2 drivers be unavailable, as is the case with real F1, those guys step in. They are the first port of call to fill those seats. The reserve system we used last season is still in place, which is why you might recognise some of these names if you watched the YouTube stream last night from EU3. But that's only when a third driver is either unavailable or cannot take that seat. So Jay Wizzy is in. He is also the third driver for Mercedes in EU3 as well, sort of straddling that line between 2 and 3. Not quite sure where he fits in yet, so tonight's actually quite a good platform for him to show what sort of pace he's got, and then maybe we can get a definite idea of where he fits in.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Yeah, Mercedes, I think.
In Hanoi, and at the back end of last season, and he was He wasn't up there, but he certainly wasn't, you know, a complete pushover. He
No.
held his own pretty comfortably in the EU2 field.
Scored some good points as well. I think it was P8 or P7, I think, on his first race in COS, which is never a bad result. However, the two main drivers then, Jamie and Jonathan Cox. Jamie, we've seen, he had a brilliant race in Singapore last season.
Indeed.
And I think it would be fair to say that both he and Jonathan Cox on their day are capable of winning races. However, with the strength of the competition that we have in this field this season, I think it's going to be very difficult for those guys to finish anywhere higher than maybe 4th in the Constructors, and I doubt, given that we're in a short season, we will see them challenging for race victories.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but
yeah, I think last season there was, you know, maybe 3-4 guys who you would put your money on to win the race, and then the people like Jamie and Jonathan Cox will be sort of there to pick up pieces. However, I think now in this tier there's 6 people easily who you would put money on to win a race, so there's going to be less room for these people to pick up, you know, those shock results.
Yeah, and of course there's some guys here who aren't even racing tonight who will drop in, who may even be quicker, and we often see it. Some guys will, the back end of one season, be way off the pace, then they put the effort in between seasons and during pre-season, and they come back and they're instantly at the front of the pack challenging for wins. So it could be a brilliant season for the pair of them. Jonathan Cox, of course, very, very good qualifier.
He is.
His race pace is often good, but sometimes his wheel-to-wheel battling and his racecraft lets him down a little bit. Penalties as well. Jamie used to be an EU1 driver, has since sort of fallen off that cutting edge, but he's made himself at home here. So there ones to keep an eye on, especially for races with mixed conditions. Jamie could come through the pack, but I don't think they're going to be challengers this year.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one.
Let's move on then. Next team up, Racing Point. Neither of their drivers able to attend tonight. Wisey Boy is filming with Nico again, which is his actual job, so we can't stop him from doing that, and we expect him to join us next week for the race opener. And Lewis, or Racer, is unwell with COVID-19, so unfortunately he is incapacitated at the moment.
Yeah, something about that racing point and missing races because of coronavirus is quite a issue. Where's Nico Hulkenberg when you need him?
Exactly. However, they've got J-Sack in the car, EU3 driver, won the pre-season race last night here in the Racing Point, so he's deputising and is their third driver at the moment, as there is not one officially allocated as of yet. Those guys, I think Lewis towards the back end of last season was starting to pick up the pace quite a lot and get himself nearer the front. However, again, similar position to Mercedes, I think they're going to be sort of the midfield, scrapping it out for the lower end of the points most weeks.
Yeah, I think for me in this tier, Lewis is the mark of the midfield. Sort of if you're in and around him, he's usually in and around the midfield. So yeah, consistent points, and I think a top 5 finish would be a solid result for Racing Point this season. Yeah.
If they can get 5th, I think that would be a very good season for them. It would be between them, Mercedes, maybe a couple of the other guys, AlphaTauri, Haas probably, and Williams for that spot. Alfa Romeo, I think, are going to be right down the bottom, but I'll explain why when we get to them in a minute. And I think they would agree with me as well. That's not me just throwing some slander at those guys, because
no arguments there.
No, but we'll come on to those guys in a minute. McLaren then, next up. One of their full-time drivers is here tonight. That is the Wizard, and his reputation precedes him. Definite midfield pace, out and out, but does not get penalties. So much so that we have the Wizard Award named after him for such a feat. But yeah, as you said, Joel, there's been a couple of chinks in the armour recently.
Yeah, he committed the unforgivable sin in Hanoi of speeding into the pit lane, which we were all very shocked about. However, it's just a small blip for a guy like Wizard.
Yeah.
Sure he'll get over it.
He certainly will. Keep an eye on the Wizard. Very tactically astute. Of course, if you were watching last season, much to my annoyance, as the then tier representative for EU2, he managed to pull off a zero-stop strategy at Monaco and get himself some points. So that loophole has since been closed. I was not happy. Yes, on after my protests were put forward. After my protestations, I was going to say, but I thought I'll use the simple words. Yeah, and he's been partnered by F1 Perez this season, who I think is almost the antithesis of the Wizard.
Yeah.
Perez is lightning quick. Not to say that the Wizard is slow, but Perez is near the front of the pack, but gets a lot of penalties.
Yeah, indeed he does. I've yet to work out Perez's real pace. I think it was Silverstone where he was, I think he made his debut and he was struggling quite a lot, and I maybe thought this guy wasn't quite cut out for tier 2, but then a couple of races later he was absolutely blitzing his way through the field. And yeah.
Of course, we've had Perez in Incos before. He came back last season after I think 2 or 3 seasons away. If you wanted to go back and watch his old performances, you could do that in season 2 and 3. And his name was F1 Senna, and then changed to F1 Perez during that time. If these guys perform as we know they can, and Perez can limit his penalties, what do we think? I think they're going to be in that fight for P5 in the championship, maybe higher, if one of the leading teams has an off season or a couple of off races. Drivers' Championship?
Yeah, I think they'll probably, both be fighting around the same level when it comes to the end of the season. I believe Wizard will be a lot more consistent, yet Perez will pick up, the odd few podiums possibly, and just all-round good race results. And I think by the end of the season it'll probably even out to be just around the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I think the Wizard will be looking for a top 10 Drivers' Championship finish. Keep an eye on him at the end of races as well, especially if he's in a pack of cars in some traffic, because he will be jumping them by virtue of him not having any time penalties, and that has often meant he was picking up more points than you would feel his overall pace deserved. But of course he fully deserves them, given that he didn't cause any track extensions. I think the best he ever got was P14 to P6, just by not getting penalties.
Some jump.
Yeah, and I definitely want to keep an eye on. And Perez, of course, not here tonight, but he's being covered by Swarner, who is an AM driver and is one of the 2 reserves for McLaren, as they have no third driver allocated as of yet. I should say, actually, we've been through Red Bull's third driver is Beam Sandwich, who some of you may remember from AM1. He's their third driver this season, as he's been looking to jump across to the EU side as well. And the game's just pushed me on to Haas, so let's jump over to them next then. Both drivers here tonight. We've got Ricky then coming up as EU3 champion from last season. Won it, of course, at the final race in the USA, beating out Matty, who is also here tonight. And then we've got Emir227, who we're on board with. New driver to Contest of Speed. And we're very glad to have you. You're more than welcome to be here. what are we thinking, Joel? You probably know more about Ricky's pace than me. You were watching it last season.
Yeah, you might have your dark horse, but my dark horse is definitely Ricky, I believe. He's just consistent. He's always there, in and around, when he needs to be, and just picks up those race results consistently again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think he's my dark horse for a, possibly top 5 drivers finish this season, in my opinion. And not a clue what to expect from him here. Never raced with him anywhere, never seen him race, but hopefully he can be a great addition.
Yeah, he's done a long stint on the softs as well so far in this session, and the pace looks good there. Challenging a couple of guys who've done 1 lap runs on the mediums, so if that's anything to go by, if that's anything to go by, then he could be quite competitive. But we'll wait and see. Going back to Ricky though, wily old fox, I think is what we can describe him as. He's been around in Contest of Speed for as long as anybody in this tier, with the exception, I think, of actually, is there an original in here anymore? I don't think there is, there's there's no originals left in here. We've only got Season 2 veterans, which is Ricky. So Ricky, along with Matt and Wisey Boy, is the longest serving driver in this tier. So and the Wizard, of course, but definitely a very experienced driver, an excellent defensive driver as well, and I can attest to being stuck behind his car at Kota, which is not a difficult circuit to overtake at, for the best part of a race, when I was fighting for a championship at the time, and he just parked it.
Yeah, I've never personally raced directly, wheel to wheel trying to get past him, but I've certainly heard from people that he does tend to make his car twice as wide, and he's very difficult
and
to pass.
I mean, I feel my defensive driving has improved significantly especially since I joined COS, but particularly because I paid attention to what Ricky does. And anybody, I know that there's a certain Varamir who may be rejoining us at some point, who always says that I had the widest car in COS, but that's all thanks to this man.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch.
Absolutely. So I think, constructors-wise, I think we have to be conservative. Ricky coming up, of course, from EU3, Emir being an unknown quantity, we have to put them in that midfield bracket. But as you said, you think that Ricky can get a top 5 in the Drivers' Championship, so I think we can put them at the top end of the midfield, pushing for that top 5.
Yeah.
I think they might just miss out, though, depending on how quick Emir is.
Yeah, obviously I think we'll get a better picture a couple races in when we realise what Emir brings to the table for Haas, but yeah, I think we know what Ricky's capable of, and he's reserved in, different tiers and putting good performances in other tiers, which he possibly is out of his depth in. So yeah, we'll have to see what he can bring.
Yeah. Jumping on then, AlphaTauri, we've only got 5 minutes left to go through all of these guys, and then we're into the manic action that is one-shot qualifying. You're going to love one-shot quali, Joel. Have you ever seen commentary for it before?
I had a look at the EU3 one last night.
For
selfish reasons only.
It's manic.
But yeah,
one-shot quali.
It does look manic.
Yeah, it's like the final part of a horse race. Anyway, AlphaTauri. One driver in attendance tonight, and he's currently leading the way. That's Tom Robbo, new to COS. We saw him in the final race of last season at Hanoi, and put in a very, very strong showing there. I think he finished 4th overall in the end in that race.
Yeah.
And he's been partnered with Thomas, who on his day we know can be at the very front of the midfield and pushing for podium spots. So AlphaTauri, I think, could be the dark horse of the Constructors' Championship, but they're definitely going to be in the midfield. And then from there, I think Tom Robbo can probably push for the higher places in the Drivers' Championship. I don't think there's anything stopping him from doing that.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I believe he'd finish Yeah, he did finish fourth, I think, in Hanoi, and I think he was only beaten out by maybe Caladre and Drazer, possibly.
I think it was Caladre, Dracer, and Arbar, I think, in the end, who beat him out. So
yeah, so I mean, we talk about Ricky being a dark horse, talk about IFR Snipes being a dark horse, but he's another one. And Tom Robber, who certainly shown, if not very consistently yet, because he's not driven the races, but
can definitely do
put
it.
himself up there.
Yeah. Thomas, if he can get his head in the right space, I know he's had a difficult time recently, if he can get his head right, he'll be up there. His attendance as well could be the thing that lets him down, but he's a busy man at the moment, so obviously that's out of his and our control. So next up then, who shall we go to? Let's do Williams. We'll leave Alva till last.
Yeah, best till last. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So then, Tauri moving on to Williams. Matty Robbo 97. Second place, narrowly to Ricky last season in EU3, my former teammate and my former commentary partner. He's asked me to be nice, so I shall be. Joel, would you care to talk about Matt, please?
Yeah, I mean, he was formidable in EU3, at least in the beginning and through the middle. I think he had a couple bad races, Canada for one, Hungary for one. Yeah. Where, I think those are the races which lost him the championship, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Hungary in particular, I think, was a dodgy one for him.
Yeah, but he's recently turned off the traction control and seems a lot quicker for it, so I think he could be pretty competitive in this tier.
Yeah, he should be in the midfield, I think, and I know that's where he's hoping to be. I think he's hoping to be around the bottom end of the points most weeks. So he's setting himself as an achievable target. We'll see how he goes. That is a very competitive area of the field, though, so we'll have to wait and see. His full-time driving teammate is Don Amo, who's not here tonight, and covering for them is Raggy, EU3 Williams driver, and one of the reserve drivers, because they have no third. Okay, so final team then, it's Alfa Romeo. Excuse me, and we've said already that we believe Alfa Romeo are going to be at the very back of the pack. We can explain why in these final 2 or so minutes. Stumpy and Tichy both returning. Team Stumpchy back to represent Alfa Romeo. Both of them have recently switched to wheels. Tichy in particular is driving tonight for the first time in a competitive setting, I believe, on the wheel, and will be for the season. Stumpy's starting to get the hang of it, but it will take him probably this season and maybe even next season to really get the hang of it. Both said, though, that they wanted to stay where they were in EU2. They were given the opportunity to drop down if they wanted to. That's happened with other guys in the past. And we're seeing the first quali runs come through now as well, as Milango's first with the 25.6. But both said they wanted to stay where they were so they could actually keep track of where they were relative to their time on the pad, and so that they were still in a tier that would push them. Obviously, once they get back up to speed, they would be too quick for EU3. And
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah,
so I mean it's a good mentality from the pair of them. Tichy especially, having only just swapped. So I know Stumpy was doing it for a portion of last season as well.
Yeah, Tichy's adamant to stay in EU2 and just been on board with him now for this lap, but it's not looked too bad. He's really improved over the past couple of weeks on his wheel, doing 5 lappers, and always seems eager to get on F1 and give it a go. So if he keeps up that sort of mentality, he'll be flying in no time. Yeah,
he'll be absolutely fine. So like we said then, both guys I think will be down the lower end of the championship. They will probably be in that relegation zone, that bottom 3. And Alfa Romeo, I think, by their own admission, as a team, will be at the bottom of the Constructors' Championship here. But then again, as we've seen before in EU2, anything can happen, and these two could be scoring points every week. There's nothing saying they can't. So, as much as we're putting them at the bottom in our predictions, there's nothing to say that that's set in stone. And I think we've timed that quite well. Just coming around towards the end of the session then. First driver to finish is the Wizard, of course, in the pit lane. Tom Robbo then. This is the one I'm interested in. Currently taking half a second off his time, so he will overtake Milan as it stands. Let's see how he does through the rest of the lap then. A great shot from the helicopter. Just while we watch him, Joel, who do you think is going to win? If we were going to put money on it now, constructors and drivers, who do we think?
I'm gonna have to say Yarner for drivers, and I think I'd be stupid not to say Red Bull for constructors. I think Yarner's shown that he can do it in EU2, has won races, has got podiums, will score points, and with a teammate like Milan, you know, they're just gonna dominate. However, I could be proved very wrong, but yeah.
Jay Wizzy for Mercedes goes second, but we've still got a number of guys to come through, including Tom Robbo, who rounds the final corner and punches for the line. Doesn't improve though, interestingly enough. I think it's going to be definitely Red Bull for the drivers. For the constructors, rather. Absolutely Red Bull.
Indeed.
I don't think there is a team, with the exception of maybe Renault, that can challenge them for that. Ferrari, possibly.
Ferrari, yeah, it depends what range Snipes can do coming up from EU3.
Yeah, drivers.
Ferrari could be
Drivers' Championship, if he can make sure he turns up consistently, Matrix. Hands down. I think we'll get it. But we'll wait and see. It's going to be a good season. Short season, of course, only 11 races. We start off with Spa next week. And it's going to be fantastic.
It will indeed. Beautiful circuit. What way to start.
Yes. Voted as the most popular circuit by the drivers last season. Or at the end of last season, rather. Overtaking Silverstone and Monza from the previous poll, which I found quite interesting.
Yeah, Silverstone and Monza, certainly ones loved by the drivers. Monza, not so much for me personally, not a fan. However, Silverstone is a cracking circuit.
Yeah. Okay then, we get ready to go qualifying. And for anyone who's not witnessed this before, I'm going to have a drink before we start, because I'm not going to stop talking for the best part of 2 minutes. We will stay with one driver throughout. Whichever one it puts us with is the one we're staying with. So if you're looking for one particular driver to get a view, don't think that's going to happen. Predictions for pole position, Joel. Who do you think?
I'm going to go Snipes. His
Snipes.
lap pace has been incredible throughout.
Alright, here we go then. On board with Matty Robbo, 97. We'll ride on board with him as we start the lap. Raggy leads the way then from Swarner, Stumpy, Ricky, who overtakes Stumpy now, into turn one. Swarner still leads the way in the McLaren, but now Jamie and Tichy jump ahead. Matrix and Tom Robbo up there as well. Matrix into the lead. It's all action at the front of the pack. Stumpy jumps from 1st to 19th as we head now towards turn 4. Matrix and Emir at the front, as we thought they might be. Milan is still up there as well. Tom Robbo, Arbar now as we enter sector 2. Timmy, where to next? Jumps it in there. This is what
Tom Robbo's lost it.
Tom Robbo's gone. Tom Robbo has retired from the qualifying session, so he's out of the running. Milan now leads the way from Jamie, Timmy, Matrix and Snipes now moving his way up the field. Milan takes Jamie through turn 9 as we power down the back straight now towards the final sector. Through the left-hander of turn 11, now up through turn 12, also known as Blank Curve. Milan still leads the way from Jamie, Arbar, Jasak, Emir, Timmy. Snipes must have lost it somewhere. He's down at the back of the pack. Still Milan, Arbar and Jamie now leading the way. Jasak moves up into those positions. Matt, who are on board with him, P11. Final corner now. Milan still leads the way through. Jasak overtakes Arbar for second place. Ricky now into fourth. Timmy into fifth. Yorno climbing. Must have got a great exit. Milan has it.
Wow. 5/10. That was some lap.
It's not as manic as it has been in the past, actually, but yeah, very special lap from Milan. 124.866, 4 whole tenths of a second ahead of Jasak in second place. Arbar in third, Timmy in fourth, Ricky fifth, Yorno P6, Emir P7, Jamie P8, Matrix down in P9, I thought would be higher up than that, and Swarner in P10. Those guys will have to start on the soft tyre. Matty P11, he'll be happy with that. Raggy P12, Stumpy and Tichy 13th and 14th, then Jamie James covering in the Alpha Tauri for Thomas. Snipes in P16 after his spin. The Wizard down at the back of the pack, and then Jay Wizzy and Tom Robbo having lost and been disqualified on their laps.
Yeah, not the greatest prediction for pole from myself, I have to say, but
well, he was up there and he was making moves and then must have made a mistake somewhere. That's the one problem with one-shot qualifying. You never see who makes mistakes, unless you just see them fall down the leaderboard.
I mean, that lap from Milan was incredible. I was watching him down the back straight, and I could tell even in one-shot quality he was leading Jamie by a couple tenths at least.
Yeah,
great lap.
Fantastic work from Milan, but qualifying on pole position gets you nothing in contest of speed. It's not like F2, you don't get points for it, it just puts you at the front. So he's got to make it count when it matters on race day, which of course is now. We don't have a break in between. Anybody who's watching the stream, you can press X as and when. We're not doing the penalties tonight for the 1 minute wait time. So no need to worry about that. Titchy, there we go.
Can always rely on Titchy.
Yes. Normally Arbar's the man who presses the button, keeps everybody in line, of course, in there. But no need tonight. We don't need the strategy element taking effect as we have done in the past. They've just had half an hour's practice. This should be good to go. And then again, there's no points on the line here. It's just for fun. Okay then, so let's have a look. Who's on what tyre then? The top 10 of course have to start on the soft tyre that they qualified on. Outside the top 10 then, Matty, Wizard and Jay Wizzy on the softs. Everybody else on mediums, so Raggy, Stumpy, Titchy, Jammy, Snipes and Tom Robbo, all mediums, going for the reverse strategy.
Yeah, reverse strategy. Pretty average around here. As it being a one-stop, you're not really getting much time. Yeah, especially in the
25%. Obviously, if we were in the full 50s, that we will be when we actually go racing. Oh dear, Matt and Swan have hit each other. Matt, you're making it really hard to be nice. I want to be nice.
Stuck to the commentary box.
Well, he said to me earlier that he was disappointed that it wasn't going to be us commentating anymore. So we should have slowed down at the end of the season, and then you'd still been in EU3. Said, no. I'm happy I'm up. So strategy then is basic. It's been 25%. If we were at the full 50s, we could have some variation, but it's going to be soft guys are going to go to between lap 6 and 8. Put the mediums on and then go to the end. And the medium guys are going to go to between 8, probably about lap 8. I put the softs on and go to the end. The only thing that might throw a spanner in the works is if we get a safety car at any point. But we shouldn't do around here, really.
Yeah, it's such a short race. You can, if you're starting on the soft, you can pretty much pit whenever you want, and you're gonna make the end on those mediums. So Yeah.
In terms of being the quickest, it's either lap 6 or lap 7, and then swap to mediums. The medium guys, I would say lap 8 is where you want to be, and then swap. But we'll see what happens. We got 2 VSCs last night, so anything is possible as they line up on the grid then to go racing in Bahrain for the first time in Season 7. Might only be pre-season, but I know a lot of these guys will take it as seriously as they would a normal race. So then, we wait for the lights. Will we get the glitch for the first time this season? We will, so we'll wait for the reds. Watch the bottom right, everybody. Here we go. Away we go for EU2. Milan gets a great start. Jasak not so much there. There's a piece of wing flying around. I'm not sure who that's from. Is it Tichy? Right down at the back of the pack. Meanwhile, at the front, Milan holds position. Jasak in second, but he's gone. Hits by Arbar. Matrix as well, I think, was in there. Jasak's gone. Arbar holds position then. We've got a Ferrari of Timmy, then Ricky up to P4. As Milan now starts to build a gap at the front of the pack. We've got Snipes and Raggy fighting. That's a battle we've not seen before. And Raggy's come out on top of that one. In P10. Snipes up to P11 already.
Yeah, great start from Snipes.
Yeah, big winners then off the start initially. Oh, opportunistic move from Jamie James down the inside of Snipes into turn 9. Fantastic opportunity to go overtake. I was about to say big winner is Race Snipes up 5 places, but he's not anymore. He's down to 4.
Yeah, quite a lot of
oh, Timmy's gone. Timmy's gone at blank curve. That's the first racing casualty of EU2 for blank curve. So Tichy at the back of the pack then with that wing damage. I'm not sure what happened on the start there. We just saw the end plates flying.
I think he dropped it off the line.
Yeah. Milan then 1.4 seconds clear already. We've got Yorno and Ricky going into battle at turn 1. Oh, Ricky squeezing with Yorno now has got the inside line for turn 4. But Ricky's going to hang it round the outside on the brakes. This is going to be... Oh! Ooh. Ricky's going to hold position, I think. Indeed he is. This is what I mean about Wiley, old defensive fox. Look at him go. He's got to train because of that.
Yorno's got a job on his hands.
Yeah, although we're going to have DRS next time around, and I think Yorno will have him then. But Ricky holding him off at the moment. Arbar 1.5 seconds clear either side of himself, getting himself some very nice clean air to run in. Oh, we've got a spinner there, I think. Emir lost the back end a little bit, and that's allowed Matty up to P5. Go on, Matt. Go on, son. He's the big winner.
Stick to the commentary box.
Maybe. Along with Snipes and with Tom Robbo up 6 places after that first lap and a half. Big losers, of course, Timmy and Jasak, who spun out. But apart from that, Swarner down 7 and Tichy down 5. To be at the back of the pack. Matt then closing in on Yorno for P4, but I think we're going to see Yorno make a move on Ricky. If not into turn 1, we'll see it into turn 3. Well, turn 4 actually, isn't it? This is counted as 2 and 3 coming up now.
Yeah.
DRS is active. Not going to be close enough. Yeah. Keep an eye on it then. Arbar's keeping Milan honest at the moment. 1.6 now the gap. He's holding some sort of pace with the leader, but Milan has so much more ERS.
Yeah, Milan's barely touched it.
And the Red Bull man cruising at the moment then, slowly increasing his gap on the car behind. Long way to go though yet. Yorno very close behind Ricky. Probably not close enough to make a move now. But we'll ride on board with the Red Bull, and I think we'll see that Haas move to one side as we overtake it. going down the main straight towards turn 1.
Yeah, and Matty and Emi are aren't too far behind Ricky, though we could say age-old battle refuel between Matt and Ricky.
Yeah, former teammates, of course, at Haas in Tier 2 during Season 2, so it'll be very interesting to see that one happen. Here goes Yorno, though, overtaking Gage, DRS open, moving alongside Ricky into the braking zone, and he's going to squeeze him, but we need to be careful here. Ricky's had accidents at turn 2 before. Both drivers, squeezed there from Yorno. Which one's got the DRS?
Ricky's got it.
Ricky's got it and then retakes the position.
Goes a bit deep though.
He's gone deep on purpose because it gives him the drive out of the corner. That's the thing with Ricky. He might not be the quickest, but he knows every inch of every circuit and where he can find time.
Yeah, great advertisement for what we were saying earlier about his defending.
Yeah, just proving the point. There was no way he should have held that position. No way.
Yeah, it's very, very impossible. Well, obviously not impossible, but very, very difficult to hang it round the outside in that first corner.
And he managed it. We'll have picked up a warning for the cutting of turn 2, but didn't have any other option. So, no hard feelings on that one. Well, not from us anyway. Yorno might have a bit of a misgiving about it. Milan pulling away then at the front. Arbar in a clear and comfortable second place at the moment. Let's see, can the Haas hold on this time from the Red Bull of Yorno? We're closing in. We're going to be ahead before the corner this time.
Yeah, I don't even think Ricky can defend from that.
He's gonna try though. I think on the he's gonna try it towards turn 4. Back end's gone. And now Matt could be in the running. DRS open on the Williams. He's going to have the double toe from Yorno ahead of him, but Ricky's going to have the inside line. Is Matt going to take advantage of his former teammates' tactics and go around the outside? He is, but there's a clip on the tyre. Keeps the position though, and Ricky's lost 2 in 2 corners.
Yeah, Ricky won't be happy about that. That could have very nearly ended Ricky's race, if I'm being honest. But
Matt's as well, of course. That tyre there is the loaded tyre, so any sort of loss of traction, especially now that Matt's not running traction control, can be very, very difficult. The problem Matt's going to have now is he's got to try and get within DRS of Yorno, otherwise it's going to be an easy re-overtake for Ricky.
Yeah, and looking at Matt's DRS, I think he might, if he burns to get back inside that DRS,
it's going to be close.
Quite threatened from. I mean, Ricky's only got 20% to be fair, so he's.
I think Matt just got it. Yeah, he did. Oh no, Matt's gone. He's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, Matt, no. Full course safety car, and he's had that glitch where you hit the wall, try and get out of it, and the wheel pops off. And that is a devastating way to exit the race.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be best pleased about that, that's for sure.
I didn't even have time to make a George Russell joke.
And George Russell takes the lead of the Sakhir Grand Prix.
But what that does mean is that a lot of drivers behind the leading group have pitted for the medium tyre, and they've pitted a lap earlier than planned. So assuming they don't get held behind the safety car, which I don't think they're going to. No, it's waiting for the leaders. So Milan, Arvar, Ricky and Jamie are going to be missing out here. Raggy in P7 on the soft tyre.
Yeah, I mean,
could be in a very, very good position here.
Having raced with Raggy a few times around this track, it's certainly not one of his stronger ones. However, the soft tyres are magical things around this track.
Saying it's not one of Raggy's strong suits is like saying that a particular cake is bad, isn't it? It's not really taking anything away from the guy. He's still going to be quick.
indeed. And he'll be racing with a point to prove in EU2.
Yeah, he has raced here before, put on a good show.
Especially in Hanoi, he was,
yeah.
so he was in the fight for a podium for at what was the time an EU4 driver.
Yeah, the leaders are into the pits, and I think the front two are going to be okay because the guys are still held behind that delta. Yorno was the first one who pitted and obviously can now punch it, and he's going to jump a couple of places. He's jumped Ricky.
He already had the jump on Ricky, I believe.
Yeah, he had the position, but of course that gap has stayed roughly the same, so it's not too much.
Escaped without much trouble, because I believe it was Ricky, Matty, then Emir.
Yeah, it was. So
take Matty out of the equation, and it's now Ricky and Emir.
Yeah, so the lap delta saving the leaders then from being swallowed up by the mid-pack. The interesting ones, I think, Jamie James going onto the hard tyre. Not so sure about that one.
Definitely.
Hard tyre is for lap 1 damage, like Tichy's gone on to, although I'm surprised he hasn't stopped for mediums.
Yeah, I think she's usually quite smart when it comes to
to tyres and things. So it could be one to keep an eye on. Raggy then I think is the one we need to watch on the restart. We'll see how he gets on. Let's have a look at penalties there. No penalties so far, so it's all on track action. The Wizard though, look, up to P8. He's in there. He's in there already.
I believe he started at the back and he's, slithered his way into the top 10 and possibly towards top 5.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with the Wizard. Matrix, of course, behind him, pitted very early for those mediums, and I think has got lucky with the safety car when it happened, or unlucky, depending on.
After his lap 1 spin back up to P11.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was very fast in the qualifying, so he could be someone to watch.
I think, well, with the guys in the positions they're in, I would imagine that we might see Tichy stop now, actually. Yeah, and that'll be to avoid the stack that I think happened at Alpha Tauri.
Yeah, Stumpy has just pitted as well.
Now are they cycling tyres? Is Stumpy going to go back to softs? Yeah, he is.
He is.
Stumpy going back to softs, cycling the medium tyre out. Interesting call there. He's got 7 laps to go, for I think 7 including this one, to go. So doable actually on those tyres, especially behind the safety car. Tichy onto softs as well, so he's back to those.
Yeah, I think we could probably get used to this, seeing the Alfa Romeos at the back of the grid, but this will be a good bit of a practice for them, see if they can make a couple overtakes maybe on those soft tyres. Yeah,
I think Stumpy's going to be the one we'll see maybe really go for it.
I think James should be a sitting duck, to be honest, for all the people behind him, given his tyre status. I would agree with you there. Going for the hard tyre, I think, is going to be a very, very bad call. Yeah, they're not great. He needed to stop last time round and cycle the softs back, but hindsight is, of course, 2020, and he'll learn from that. Safety car is in this lap, so Milan now entering sector 3 will take lead of the field. It's his job to maintain a pace. Of course, this year's game follows the official rules whereby the safety car line is the start-finish line, not at the pit entry. So the safety car has to be in the pit lane before Milan can punch it and go. So he's got to be careful, because he's going to want to punch it out the final corner to not risk losing out, and the safety car has only just hit the pit lane, so
Let's see what's right on board.
Take them right up to the line.
Do a Bottas at... Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Arbar still with him and closing. You see, you want to take it before the final corner if you can. Watching behind Arbar, not close enough. Ricky and Emir both going down the inside of each other's cars. Yorno and Emir come together.
Jamie and Ricky going.
And Jasak with the first penalty then. Jumping down the order then, we've got Timmy jumping ahead of Jasak. Great action there in the midfield. Oh, the Renault's gone. Ooh, the Wizard and went well wide. And there's an Alpha Tauri there as well with Tom Robbo, I think.
Yeah.
The Wizard and Tom Robbo went well wide through turn 6. And Harbaugh picks up 3 seconds at the front of the pack. He's pushing hard to try and stay with Milan. Because if he can keep himself in DRS range, when it becomes active next time around, he might have a chance to get him on track. But that's Tom Robbo with cooked tyres. Yeah, losing it through turn 9. Matrix gets ahead of the Wizard, as does Jay Wizzy. That's Matrix on the medium tyre, everybody around him on the soft, so he's probably going to be falling back a little bit. Jamie and Snipes going side by side into turn 1. Swarner has retired in the pit lane. Understandable. Jamie and Snipes come together through turn 2. But, Jamie managed to keep it in a straight line.
Titchy up to 12.
Go on, Titch. This is where in a pit stop he's turned the wheel off and gone back to the pad.
Yeah.
Is that the Wizard? No, it's Jasak and Jamie James at turn 4. We've got wing damage on damage. Oh, he's retired on track. Don't do that. No, don't do that, because if you do that in a league race, that's a penalty.
Yeah, it's not the best way to get yourself out of the race, that's for sure.
Yep, both Alpha Tauri's now gone. One McLaren and, of course, Matt in the Williams after his unfortunate accident. Jasak then, P15. He's not doing badly. And I know that might sound like pity points, but he's doing all right. Yeah. He's been unfortunate. He had an early spin at turn 2, which put him at the back, and he's fought back and had another accident. Jay Wizzy has retired on the final corner. We can just see him there. We might get another safety car. The Wizard is pitting in anticipation for it. Either that or he's got wing damage. So let's have a look. No, he's pitted in anticipation of a safety car, which unfortunately for him has not come.
Carnage, absolute carnage in the midfield.
That's what we want, not what we want to see, but the competitiveness of the racing is what we want to see. Emir with a corner cut. I wonder if he's lost the back end through the S's and then had to cut across the hairpin.
Yeah, I mean he's giving it everything to catch up to the back of his teammate. 6% ERS compared to Ricky's 45. So yeah, Emir trying to make an early statement.
Again, he's made one actually, as far as I'm concerned. He's
yeah, he's been impressive.
Put himself up there at the front. ERS management, depending on how he's gone so far, might leave a little bit to be desired, but it looks a very strong driver.
Yeah, I certainly think this puts them within the fight with maybe McLaren for that sort of best of the rest constructor. Certainly Ricky and Emir looking quite strong.
Oh, we've got a Ferrari of Timmy trying to get through on Emir and does so, and gets DRS as well. to try and keep himself there, but so does Emir, and now here comes Jamie behind with a double toe, looks down the inside of the Haas. No joy for him there, though.
Yeah, now I believe Timmy was another one who decided to take to different parts of the track during lap 1, so he's done a good job to fight back.
He has. He's also on the soft tyre, so he could be pushing on now to get himself ahead of Ricky. And if he can, if he can bridge that gap towards Arbar, he might even be on for a podium here.
Definitely. I think
both Alphas both Alphas in point scoring positions at the moment as well with Emir's penalty. So
they are indeed. Titchy's looking at the back of Matrix, and yeah, Titchy's looking very impressive.
Yeah, looking racy there. I bet he's on the pad, you know.
I'd see, you know, maybe if it was some other people, I might believe they had such the pad, but I have faith in Titchy. He's resilient.
That's fair. I'm just going to stay on more. Well, we'll find out afterwards. Timmy then in DRS range of Ricky's Haas. Not close enough, I don't think, to make a move into turn 1. Maybe for turn 4. We'll find out. Ricky runs a little bit deep through turn 1, so Timmy will get the drive. He's close now, 2/10 away. I don't think he's quite going to have the room to make that overtake, though, no. So while we wait for that, I'm just going to jump on board with Titch. And I'm going to see from his...
I've tried to look at his wheel inputs.
Yeah.
I can't really tell. They do look a bit jolty, but maybe that's just...
Yeah, normally we'd...
experienced on the wheel.
Yeah, normally we'd look at throttle and brake inputs as well, but Titchy uses the right analog stick, pushing it forwards and backwards when he's on a pad to accelerate and brake, which is a very, very smooth way of doing it. Much more so than the triggers. You've got much more dexterity in your thumb. That's his argument, and of course it's true. Not something I've ever found comes naturally, if I'm honest. The thing I'm looking out for with him at the moment, as I'm just going to jump back to Timmy actually, is the little kick of oversteer and how he catches it.
Yeah.
That's the telltale sign. Here goes Timmy though, on Ricky. Ricky tucks in behind, and he's going to go for it again. Down the inside goes Ricky to retake the position from Timmy. Oh, back end of Timmy goes, and there goes Emir through. And Jamie as well.
And Jamie.
Raggy gets the fastest lap point. He got damage in a little scuffle earlier on, so had to stop. He's in a world of his own there. And Matrix picks up 3 seconds. Those medium tyres not serving him particularly well at the moment.
Raggy and the Wizard just had a bit of a coming together. Quite a feisty little battle going on there. Not really fighting for much.
Oh, that's pride, you would say. Oh, Raggy sold the dummy to the Wizard. Great overtake. Can the Wizard get him on the cutback, though? Yes, he can. Pushes the Williams wide, side by side now through turns 9 and 10. And that was always going to end in tears.
Yeah.
Raggy, that's not a 10-second penalty, though, for the lad. But that was a great drift, and he's held it, to be fair to him. That was fantastic. Yep. We've finished the race and I've missed the Milan winning, but
Milan wins.
Milan and Jarno in second, and ominous signs for the season ahead with Red Bull looking completely dominant. Arbar in third place. Ricky holds on for fourth, which I mean, it just attests to what we were saying about him earlier on. Jamie P5, Timmy in sixth, Snipes in seventh, Titchy P8. Emir P9, Stumpy P10, both Alphas making a great recovery drive from where they were.
Yeah, and I'm getting deja vu of last night and Raggy doing donuts on the final lap, but you know,
it's pre-season.
Just enjoying himself.
It's pre-season. EU2 again, not disappointing as per in pre-season, and I think we've got a fantastic 11 races to look forward to over the next 3 months.
Yeah, I think that top 3 is definitely something that, you know, we will be seeing quite a few times this season. But if it's anything like that, I'm certainly not opposed.
No,
this season.
No, definitely not. And I think we will be seeing some brilliant on-track action as well as the season progresses. So we will be ending the stream very soon. No interviews tonight. It's just pre-season. Don't need to bother the guys with that or waste any more of your valuable time at home. Thank you very much for watching. You've got AM2's pre-season race going on in about 2.5 hours time. Well, 3 hours time actually. We've finished a little bit earlier than normal. That's at 9 PM Eastern. They'll be going live. I'm not sure who's doing commentary for those guys now. Might be Kit.
I believe it's Urzy and Kitten.
Oh, what a duo!
What a duo indeed.
So, if you're watching this now, make sure you drop a like on the stream. Make sure you hit follow on Twitch as well. That is all greatly appreciated. You can tune in tomorrow for EU1 with Limmy and Matt actually doing commentary tomorrow, with Jack unfortunately absent. So make sure you tune in for that. And then you've got AM1 tomorrow night, again at 9 PM Eastern tomorrow, and EU4 on Thursday. Then we will be back next week for round 1 of Season 7 in Spa. Thank you again very much for watching. We will see you then. Good night.